Okay, so the next function I want to show you is going to be the SUMIFS function, and that's with an S on it. So previously we looked at the SUMIF, and that was where we were telling Excel to add certain cells together if it met one set of set criteria. So for example, we wanted it to add up anything in column C if this dollar amount was paid by check. And then right here on our class fees, we said if it was paid by cash to add it. So with the SUMIFS, we're going to give it multiple sets of criteria to search for before it can add in any of the cells. So what I've done is added some information to the spreadsheet that we can start looking at. And what I want to look at right now is just on our class fees again. Let's look at how much money we collected in checks for class fees for each in specific month. So I'm going to come up here to August, and just like we did with the SUMIF, we're going to type in equals and then SUMIFS and add the S on there and parentheses. And so now it's going to ask for the sum range. What am I wanting it to add together? So I want it to add any of the cells in class fees together if, I'm going to put my comma, and now my criteria range. So the criteria range I want it to look at is the class fees month paid. So I'm going to highlight all of those. And that's my criteria range. You can see that right here. I'm going to do a comma, and it's going to bump me over and say for your criteria range, what is the criteria that you want it to look for? And I want it to look for August period. And remember, you have to do the quotation marks so it knows it's looking for words. And then I'm going to put comma, and that's my first set of criteria right there. I want it to look at the month that was paid, and I want it to look strictly for anything that has the month of August. I'm going to put in a comma, and now I'm in criteria range 2. What's the next set of criteria I want it to look at? Okay, I want it to come over here and look for anything on my check cash column. Do a comma for that range, and now what is the criteria? Well, remember, we want it to look for anything that was paid with checks in the month of August. So in my column D, I want it to look for anything that says, so quotation mark, check. And I'm going to put my parentheses to close that out. So now I have more than one set of criteria. I want it to add up any of these fees that were paid in the month of August and only by check. So I'm going to hit return. It's going to give me $20. So we can go through here and we can probably find it pretty quick. And it's going to be right here. $20 was paid by check in August. All the other August information that you see, you can look at and you can tell that those were all paid in cash. So let's do a few more, and then on yours, you'll get to do the rest of them. So just to see it one more time, I'm going to do equals SUMIFS, parentheses, take your range that you wanted to add. It's going to be my dollar amount, comma, criteria range 1 is going to be the class fees month paid. That's my range, comma. Now I want it to look for September. So I have to put those in parentheses and then comma. My criteria range 2 now is going to be looking for cash or check. So highlight that column. That's my criteria. And I need it to say check. Add those in quotation marks. Close out my parentheses. And it will add that in. So do one more. Equal SUMIFS. Same range. I want it to keep looking for this stuff. Comma. Criteria range. Again, I'm going to look at the month, and now I'm in October. Comma. My second criteria is going to be cash or check. I want it to look for check. Close that out. And I can do that for each one of these months. And again, since I have more than one set of criteria, it's trying to look for both of those, and when it meets both of those, it's going to add in those dollar amounts. So that is the SUMIFS formula.